and I'd like to make sure that I share that hidden gem with as many groups as I can. So she spoke to our Mastery for Women a couple of months ago, and she did a great job. She does normally do a PowerPoint. However, yesterday she called me, she said, "Do you have a screen?" I said, "Gee, you know what? Yes, we do. However, we meet outside, and we cannot do a PowerPoint outside." Well, look at the weather. We're inside. And Naomi, she had to tweak her presentation to make it live, interactive with everybody. But she will teach you some tools about how to read people's faces, where you can use it and hopefully better understand your coworkers, your children, your spouse for that reason, and people that you're dealing with. So this time, next time when you go and do a business conduction and meet people, then you'll be able to say, your face, I learned this from Naomi. Okay. So with that said, without further ado, please let me welcome here Naomi Tickle.
Thank you, Magnus. Well, thank you, and it's great to be here, and what a great setting this is. I came across this system back in the 1980s, and when I was taking a course in San Francisco, and all my friends were rushing down and having their faces read, and I thought, oh, this is so Californian-like, I'm not going to fall for this one. Anyway, curiosity got the better of me, and I went down, and I had this assessment. It's all based on the facial structure, so nothing to do with expressions. And I was absolutely amazed by the accuracy. I've taken lots of tests over my time. Nothing came close to this. And so about 10 years later, I just decided to take the course, and then eventually did a couple of years out there just testing this out. But this particular system, which is called personology, or I now call this face pattern recognition, this was started by a judge in Los Angeles back in the 1930s. And whilst in court, he saw a strong correlation between structure and personality. And these patterns keep coming up and again, to the point where he dropped his work, and he, together with a group of men, engineers, statisticians, psychologists, salespeople, all got together and researched this on thousands of people. And each trait was individually researched till they got about an 88% accuracy. Some of these traits are definitely 100% accuracy, it's right on. And it goes across all cultures. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you see someone with a more exposed eyelid, like yourself, I know that you'll want me to get to the bottom line. So people who have more exposed eyelids are much more bottom line people. And you see this throughout the world. So sometimes people do say to me, well, Naomi, isn't this something to do with ethnicity, or isn't it discriminating? Aren't you judging? No. I mean, we meet people, and we've got a feeling about them because we see hundreds, thousands of faces over time. And I think what happens is the brain recognizes the patterns that come up. That's why I'm calling this face pattern recognition. And so today we're using it in team building. I work with a lot of companies, Morgan Stanley, Edward Jones. I give talks at the universities in England, the marketing division, and it applies in so many ways. And so I think of the face as the GPS to our inner blueprint. It explains how we process information. It also indicates our strengths and our challenges. And now my book is in 7 different languages, and it sells mostly, believe it or not, in Saudi Arabia. So, explain that one. But anyway, I work with use this for career assessments. And my husband and I, we put together a computerized career program based on the Department of Labor guidelines for career assessments. And if you look up certain jobs, they describe the qualities needed for those jobs. And you can see those qualities in the face. That's all I'm doing. And so when someone sends their photographs or they come to me in person for a career assessment, I match up the qualities we see in the face with careers that need those qualities. And it's as simple as that. And with the blind studies with career counselors, comparing this with DISC and Myers-Briggs, found this system came out ahead. It's changing people's lives. My youngest client's been 3 years of age, and the oldest one 92. So there's hope for all of you. But so it has an amazing difference. I work with startup companies, in the Bay Area, and they've all said this has just changed the way they run their business and the way they place their employees. They said it's part of their success. I worked at IBM Marketing Division in London, and they all said this was fabulous. It just gave them another piece of information. So this is a tool that you can use to better understand and communicate with people. So what I'm going to do today, I hope you'll be all open to this, I'm going to use some of you for examples of the trade. And usually I have this PowerPoint that shows the photographs, so I hope you'll be open to doing this. And you can all relax, I can't read your minds. And I should also warn you, faces will never look the same again. You're going to be going, even looking around at each other here in the room, but you'll be going to the bank or going to the post office or in the grocery store and, what about this person? And it can be great fun. You know, it's so portable. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can use it. And that's what I love about this. I mean, I work with people all over the world, and they're all saying, this is amazing, wow. So, the first thing, trait we look at, is, I mentioned these studies that, with Edward Jones. They actually did some studies in the freshman Air Force. They were asked to go in to see if they, by using this system, if they could determine who would stay the course. They got a 97% accuracy. They even indicated the type of aircraft they fly. Wow. Now, I know this to be true because this man I met last year, he didn't know I was aware of this study, and his father was part of that study. And he said his father never stopped talking about it. So why haven't we heard about it? Because people have been lumping this into face reading. And if there's face readers out there and find they're the entertainers, this is more of a science. And, you know, practice one trade at a time. You know, and yes, I'm always, you know, typically people say, oh, come on then, you don't really expect me to believe this stuff. Well, all I'm sharing with you is a few traits. Test it out and you will be amazed. So let's look at the first trait. And we're looking at the eyes to see how close set or how wide set the eyes are. Now there are degrees of this trait. People with very close set eyes, like yourself, are very good with detail. They notice detail. And they like you to be on time. They don't like interruptions. And sometimes they can worry about things till it's bigger than life itself. So just help them to relax. And so what we do is we measure the eye here, from here to here, corner to corner, measure the space between, and we look to see if the eye is bigger than the space between. Now, when you meet your client, I'm not suggesting you take out a ruler and start measuring. That would leave a lasting impression, I'm sure. But then when you meet somebody with closer eyes, you know they're very detailed. They want all the details. And if they appear to be becoming a little bit of the worriers, just get them to relax. Whereas people who have wider set eyes, oh, no problem, it's going to be fine. What are we worrying about? Oh, and I can do this and this and this, and I can do this too, and that as well. So, you know, you're the multitasker. And a lot more laid back. And so it's a way we process. So we find his eyes are very wide set. And this lady over here, she has close set eyes. As I'm looking at you from here, yes. So I'm going to, would you like to come up here a minute? Yes, of course. My pleasure. And I'd like you to come up, please. And who else can we find? Yeah, you've got wide set eyes too. Okay, from here it looks wide set. And let's see, who can we have over here? Oh, it's gone. I'm off. All right.
We can hear you.
We can hear me. All right. I'm sure for that. So that's good.
But it won't be recorded.
Oh, that's a point.
And the background noise is quite loud.
Okay. So no screen, no pop-up projector, no.
No mic.
Okay. Oh, all right. Now you have a swing. Okay. Let's talk about that. Would you mind coming up? I'll explain what that is. No, I did from here. Come up here. And stand next to this side. That's right. That's great. And your name is? Mandy. Mandy. You'd have to get really close to look at Mandy, and maybe she'll walk around and show you. When I look at Mandy, the inner corner of her right eye is closer to the center of the nose than the left eye, which tells me she can.
It's on again.
What? Oh, which tells me she can be very tolerant. She's put